Meantime, as more and more businesses close their doors, more and more people are finding out they're now unemployed. And that has lawmakers scrambling to provide relief, which could soon come in the form of some big checks right to your mailbox.
During this time, and many small businesses are being affected by the virus, especially right here in DeLand. And a lot of people are talking about a federal proposal that could give them some relief and have checks coming to the mailboxes of millions of Americans.
So millions of people are stressed out by high prices for food, fuel, and healthcare, everybody. We all know that's the facts. And according to economists, the seniors will notice they have more purchasing power in January, when Social Security checks go up to 8.7%. But if the U.S. slips into recession within the next year, as most economists predict, inflation can then ease, and that permanent increase in benefits could feel even larger, at least for a while. Now, the Social Security Administration announced the biggest cost of living adjustment in 40 years on October 13th. They announced that the retirees' benefit is going to go to $200 a month and to even $2,000 a month in 2023. So this follows all because of the 5.9% COLA raise of the year and the hefty increase in stimulus checks, monthly stimulus checks that is, was set at around 8.2% in September. It's a seventh consecutive month at 8% or higher. But rising prices have already peaked, and according to the Federal Reserve's most recent summary of economic projection, inflation is expected to dip in 2.8% next year. So, in a bad recession, everybody, prices would likely moderate further than that or even decline, unfortunately. Now, folks, listen to this. Social Security never lowers benefits, so it's a deflationary year. Retirees could actually see their real income even grow bigger and higher. But the increase would not be permanent. The government calculates the annual COLA using the CPIW, a subset of the broader CPI index. And the 8.7% increase in January is based on a change in the CPIW from the third quarter of the past year. According to the Social Security Administration, retirees will not get another COLA until prices increase above their current levels, even if that takes more than 1 year. COLAs affect more than 70 million Americans who receive Social Security or SSI benefits. And with the mid-high inflation rates, 43% of seniors, about 50% of people, say they have reduced their discretionary spending this year. A recent poll found that 27% of seniors are spending more money each month than they can afford. That's up from 17% in 2020. And the Federal Reserve has been raising interest rates again to drive down demand for goods and services, and higher borrowing costs have already cooled the housing market. A recession will reduce consumer demand even more, slowing down inflation and potentially leading to price decreases for many products. Lower prices will mean more buying power for seniors until inflation picks up again. Analysts told CBS that these higher prices will just continue, adding that if inflation does occur, seniors could end up receiving more money in return. So as the economy fell apart in 2008 and the consumer demand decreased, seniors definitely had more purchasing power. Economists said that it took 2 full years of slow inflation before you go back up to the point where a COLA was required. The COLA is locked in, so seniors get the cost of an increase while prices were dropping. A sharp drop in energy prices can lower inflation, and there was also no COLA at the beginning of 2016. That's due to the fact of failing and falling gas prices, and the following year is only 0.3%. According to the Fed, the U.S. experienced a serious bout of widespread inflation during the Great Depression. So, right now we can only realize that President Biden has to do one thing, and it's to send out stimulus money fast. Here is the breaking news. Inflation just continues to soar. Unfortunately, the Democrats are coming together and they're ready for a new stimulus payment, everybody. We have some breaking news. Inflation soars continuously, everybody. So, as a result, the Democrats are coming together to put forward new
The other major aspects of the bill include an extension of the unemployment insurance benefits. The House is looking at the end of August, but there may be a push for an extra month there. There is support for the paid sick leave that was originally passed this time last year for folks who may still tax credits, and a few other sources of support to help businesses as they continue to reopen. There is a proposed expansion to the child tax credit.
Several new bills are being pushed through, and now Congress has the chance to make this happen. As inflation just continues to soar, it's making it harder for Americans to afford things like rent and food and groceries. And much of the focus has been on the Fed. That's because of the central bank is tasked with keeping prices stable. For months, the Fed has been trying to bring inflation under control by aggressively raising the interest rates, and effectively makes borrowing money more expensive. And by doing so, the Fed is just trying to reduce consumer demand, which could actually eventually lead to a slower price growth. The Fed's policy is the main and most influential factor, but economists say there are other ways that Congress can help tackle this. It's up to 8.2% from a year ago. Lawmakers have already passed the Inflation Reduction Act, and it includes provisions that would cut the cost of prescriptions, provide tax credits, and encourage the others to use renewable energy, and also impose a 15% minimum tax on the profits of large corporations. So, everybody, Congress passed the CHIPS Act. President Biden was very proud about this, and he said that it would help many countries compete with America. Now, that's because the central bank is just testing and tasked with keeping prices stable. For months, the Fed has been trying to bring inflation under control by aggressively raising interest rates. It effectively makes borrowing money more expensive. By doing so, everybody, the Fed is just trying to reduce consumer demand, which should eventually lead to a slower price growth. The Fed's policy is the main and most influential factor, but economists say there are ways that Congress can tackle inflation, which is up 8% from a year ago, folks. That's not good. So with the economy top of the mind for many voters and ahead of the midterms, there will be pressure on lawmakers to help Americans keep up with the rising prices. Economists say that most fiscal policies that Congress could pass will be longer-term solutions. Now, according to economists, there are several ways that Congress could take action to address the rising inflation that's facing the American people. Rising housing costs could also be a major contributor to the overall inflation. Shelter prices have made about 30% of the Consumer Price Index, a key measure of inflation. Housing prices soared again and over again, and economists say that easing local regulations could just help rising and help keep and increase the supply of available homes by allowing more available spaces to just be converted into residential properties, or by making it easier for builders to construct new homes. It could turn and lead to lower prices as supply is better able to meet demand. For instance, a senior economist said again that Congress could offer grants and free stimulus money to encourage the conversion of empty office spaces into residential homes. I'm not sure if that's going to be a good idea, but let me know what you think in the comments. Not only that, folks, but listen to this. Michigan Democratic senators have actually previously introduced a bill that would create 20% tax credit for expenses. And now, senators have also proposed new stimulus that would provide funding to localities to develop plans to build more homes and remove local barriers to housing developments. Now, steeper medical care costs have also been a significant driver of overall inflation. It's causing inflation to tamp down. Economies have actually struggled to deal with worker shortages during this time, and it has led to more labor cost, and made it harder for supplying good services. According to one economist, Congress could actually pass bills that would encourage people to save money. It could lower economy and consumer demand and spending, and lawmakers are already considering expanding the server's tax credit, which can be claimed by low and middle income taxpayers who contribute to